Hi, so I am going to go ahead and go through the process that I would do if I was going to be, completing this. And I am actually going to go ahead and complete this with you. I just want to let you guys know the steps that I take to complete these tutorials. So in one of the previous videos, I mentioned the getting set up. I would recommend watching that before getting started on the actual assignment. He gives you some tips and different ways that you can utilize the videos to learn from them. There's going to be different types of learners. He mentions that a little bit as well. If you want to watch the video and then do it, or do the exercises with him as he's doing them. So my personal preferences on some of this stuff is to, like during my lunch break, I will, eat a little bit and watch the videos without actually doing anything. Um, I will admit after probably about the 15-20 minute mark, my focus, is a little harder to focus on. I just get distracted a little bit easier. So I have to make a conscientious effort just to try to stay focused, pay attention to what he's talking about, or just take a few minutes to step out and then try to refocus when I get back in. So whatever you need to do to get it to work for you is what you need to do. As a reminder, on the bottom there's the speed. So you can adjust the speed. So you can go back, you can go forwards, back and forwards. He does have closed captions. He does talk fast and he does go through it fast. If I would recommend just starting off a speed of 1. The more times you go through it, if you get to a point, it's like, I already know this already, speed it up to like a 1.25, which is what I do sometimes. And then, whenever he's talking about something I'm not really as familiar with, I'll do it a 1 or even a 0.75 and hit pause a lot. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's see. Go to GitHub. So I did this on a different video. I'm finding his files and accessing them easily. So, but I'll go ahead and do it again. So it's West Boss JavaScript 30 is what we want to look for. And this is his file. Remember how we spoke about yesterday? Has like, almost like a file directory. We got a file folder here, or his account name, like this PC kind of thing. And then we have a folder called JavaScript 30, and then he's got folders inside that. And yeah, he's got some other content in here too. So feel free to look through that if you like. But the one we're going to be focusing on is Array Cardio Day 1. So my advice just to get started until you become more familiar with GitHub is just to click on it, open the start index-start HTML. You can hit copy or you can manually select it all. Either will work. I'm going to go ahead and hit copy it. If you don't see this, I know sometimes certain buttons will appear and other times it won't appear. I don't know what the difference is, why some buttons appear and some don't. But you can hit the copy button, or you can, like I said, just select it all manually and right click, copy as well. Both will work just fine. So we're going to open up VS Code. I'm going to close this out. So I'm just going to pretend this is also I did in another video, but just going to go over this again. I'm going to go ahead and close. Let's see what I got here. Okay. I'm going to go ahead, File, New File. I'm going to Control V, or you see it says Control V, or just click on that, paste. Then you'll see that it's pretty much black and white. There's none of the styling. That's VS Code. So you need to go to File, Save As. So in the video I did yesterday, I already went ahead and created a new folder, but let's just go to do a recap on that again. I'm in the folder that I want to be in for JavaScript. So click New Folder and JavaScript. I'm going to put no space in there so it'll be different. JavaScript 30. And then I'm going to name this array cardio1.html. Okay, I'm going to click Open Folder and then select Folder. Close that out again and open this. Okay, so this is the file that we should have right now. Go ahead, close that. This is the file we should have right now. This is our starting point, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, so I'm going to move this over to the side and go back to the video. Move this over to the side and hit play.
Today we are going to be making this super snazzy, what I like to call a flex gallery. And
I'm on the wrong one.
It doesn't include all that much JavaScript, and it leans heavily.
This is the one we want. And hit play.
I hope you are ready to sweat, because today we're not dealing with anything pretty. We're not dealing with CSS. We're not.
Okay, so I got mine at a 1.5. I want to go ahead and slow it down for this. Whenever I was just watching it, you know, while I was eating lunch, I did it at like a 1.25 or 1.5. But for actually practicing, I'm going to go ahead and slow it down to a 1.
Dealing with DOM elements, really. We're dealing with the fundamentals of JavaScript, and that is working with array methods. I found that when I forced myself to get really good at filter, map, sort, reduce, all of those array methods, I found that my JavaScript programming got a lot better. And this is really what I want.
Okay, just go over this real quick. This is your closed caption. Just because where my hearing is what it is, I prefer closed caption if that bothers you.
When I drive home today.
I know my husband doesn't like closed caption, but we do it because I can't hear. So you can do whatever works for you on that. The settings, I never mess with the settings. Again, there's a way to control the speed, but I always do it right here. And you can make this bigger. For this purposes, I'm not doing that. And let's see what that does. Is volume control. Okay, let's go ahead and get back to play.
It's just throw a whole bunch of examples at you and really get you better at working with these array methods. A lot of people like to call these filter, map, sort, reduce. These are sort of like the gateway drug to functional programming. So what we've got here is some data, const inventors, and each inventor is an object. And then I've got also a people array here, which just has strings, but inside of that's.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open up a notepad. I'm done with this. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. So if I was a student and if I was learning this, this is what I would do. In an actual notebook, but I'm going to do this on a notepad, just so you guys can see what I'm doing. I would be making notes of some things. And if you're in a situation where you can only work on a computer, you don't have a notepad with you or notebook with you, paper, pen, just do this. Do it. Open up a notepad file, save it, file, save as, put it in the same folder where you have this going on, and just name it notes. It's nothing fancy. There you go. And so this is what I would do. I would be making notes as we go along. things that you don't know, things you don't understand, make a note of that, and just do a little bit of research, whether it be on W3 schools or just watch the video again, whatever you need to do. So in the class, we've been talking, the book refers to a variable is declared by var, okay? But in ES6, the standards were updated to include let and const. So you're going to see him refer to const in here. That is just another way of saying the word var. It just has some little bit more flexibility between let and const. A developer can choose which kind of variable they want it to be. We're not going to dive in that right now. Just understand that where you see const, I don't think he uses it let. Where you see const, it's just like where we've been using the word var. Var is still used. It's just also been superseded to some extent by let and const. Okay. So move this over a little bit.
String the last name, comma, space, the first name.
So you'll see that he's using single quotes. So we'll make a note about this as well. Quotes around strings can be single or double. See, he's using single quotes. I think that might be the considered best practices now. I can't remember. And some people just have a preference. So if you see single quotes, double quotes work as well.
So first of all, let's kick it off here. And if you think you can do these on your own, please pause the video and at least try them yourself. But if you're fairly new to this stuff, then stick with me. So first thing we want to do is
I'll go ahead and apply.
get people who were born in the 1500s. So I'm going to say const 15 equals, and we'll take the inventors, and we're going to filter over it. Now, the way that the filter works is you pass it a function, and that function is going to loop over every single item in our array. So Albert, Isaac, Galileo, and it's going to give us the inventor. I don't know why I say all fancy. So what that does is we take the inventors, we loop over it, and for each inventor, we can decide whether we want to keep it or not. So go here, we'll have an if statement, and we say if the inventor dot and the dot year, so that's when they were born. If the inventor dot year is greater or equal to 1500, and the inventor dot year is less than 1600, or we could do less or equal to 1599, whatever you prefer, whatever reads easier for you, then we are going to return true. And by returning true, that means we keep it. And then you don't have to, a lot of times I see else, people have an else here, you return false. If you do not return anything other than true, or something that is truthy, it will just throw it in the garbage. So there's no need to return false here. You just return true.
Okay, so let's go over that a little bit. So a couple of things that I would do differently on this, and this is to get my personal preferences. I would put some of the stuff on separate lines. And again, this is going to be something that you're going to find a personal preference on as you start doing it. So let's see. So he's got a const. He's declaring a variable with the word const. Oh, man. Oh, okay, here it is. Oh, he's using Sublime, I believe, as a text editor. So you'll notice that's going to look different than ours. He's probably got some other styling stuff to it. But I believe, if I remember correctly, he's using Sublime text editor. We're using VS Code, so just be aware some of the differences are because of that. So we're on this first one right here. Create some space. So he's declaring a variable where we have been using the word var. He's using the word const. 15 is a variable name. Inventors dot filter. Let's see, function. Function, inventor. So I'm going to put a new curly bracket. So if the inventor dot year, I can't spell for nothing, inventor dot year is greater than or equal to 1500, and which is represented by 2 ampersands, inventor dot year is less than 1600. This is where I would put things on different lines. We are going to return true, which, as he says, it means that we're going to keep the year. So we get a constant, which again is what we've been using for var. We've named it 15. It's looking at inventors right here, and it's doing a filter, and it's looking for a function of, it's going to a function, local function of inventor, and it says if inventor dot year, which is right here, is greater than or equal to 1500, because you see some of the year, you see these years, and so again it's represented with 2 ampersands. The inventor year is less than 1600, and if it's true, meaning that it falls between 1500 or less than 1600, we're going to keep it. So let's go ahead and save it. And the way he is doing this, he's looking at everything in the console log. So actually we got to finish it.
If you want to keep it. So let's take a look at our variable here. We'll console.log it, 15. We've got 2 people. This is a bit of a...
So pause that, and we're going to do the console.log. I think I'm missing and closing parentheses. Yeah, the closing parentheses was for that opening parentheses. And semicolon. And we're going to do console.log 15. We're going to save it. I'm going to go ahead and open it up in my file. Let's see. It's this one right here. And I'm going to open it up in Chrome. Okay, so there's nothing here but it's telling us we got to look in the console. So right click, inspect, console. And move this over. And it shows that there's two that followed within that parameters that we had set of being greater than or equal to 1500 and less than 1600. Okay. And let's see.
Okay, so I'm going to show you a little tip. Console.table. Aha.
So he's made it a little bit easier to read by looking at the table, using it as a table, console.table. Save it with Control S and hit refresh and hit Control Shift I to open that back up. Or this, if that doesn't work. There we go. What I do? There we go. Okay, I guess I didn't hit save. And then once I refresh, you see the table. So that's an easier way to read the content in a console. And he's using, whether you're using the log or whether you're using the log or the table. The reason that it appears without us having to type in stuff in it like we were yesterday is because he's putting this straight in the code. It's going to appear in the console. Let's see. Okay, so let's go on to the next one.
Very nice. So these are the people that were born in the 1500s that we have here. Now, this can be greatly reduced. First of all, we can make this into an arrow function. So delete the word function. You can delete the parentheses around inventor if you prefer, and we'll make that an arrow function.
Okay, we have not talked about that. And again, that was something that was ES6. So what I would do is I would make a note of research arrow functions and save it. So that's something that you can, after we're done with this particular step, we can do a little bit of research on arrow functions.
Good, that still works. And then this right here, this just is either return true or return false. So what we can actually do is do it all in line, where we will just return these two things.
Sorry.
So it's going to give us the inventor, and we're going to return the result of these two things, which if both of them are true, it's going to return a Boolean of true. And if that makes you a little bit uncomfortable reading that, you can throw an extra set of parentheses around it and delete this.
So he went from this version, which what we've been using, and he did a more abbreviated version, which reduces the number of lines and the typing, and should reduce the number of potential errors to be made. Hold on. Okay. So I think you finished that one.
Done it all in one line.
Oh, we were doing this. So what he did, he's removing the word function. Let's see, and he's taking out that parentheses. And inventor is being replaced with the fat arrow, or the function word is being replaced with the fat arrow. And a lot of the stuff stays the same, but I'm going to go ahead and type it anyways. So we got an open parentheses inventor dot year, open bracket is greater than or equals to 1500, 2 ampersands, inventor dot year is less than 1600. That's one parentheses, and then that's another one. That should be all we need. So I'm going to go ahead and take that out and refresh the page. And it still works. Okay. So you can see that there's an abbreviated way of using this array and the filter. That saves you some lines, some typing, and potentially reduce the number of potential errors. So let's look at some of the stuff that we uncovered on this, such as arrow functions. And let's go to W3 schools. Let's see what they talk about there. Arrow functions. Okay, arrow functions were introduced in ES6. Arrow functions allow us to write shorter function syntax. So we previously had this, hello equals a function, and you're going to return hello world. With arrow functions, this is the same. The variable name is the same. That's the same. So basically, we did away with the word function, but we still had this, and then the fat arrow, and then the rest is the same. So it gets shorter if the function has only one statement and the statement returns a value. You can remove the brackets and the return keyword. So again, this is the same. Equals is the same. This is the same. This is the same, the fat arrow for the word function. And where we get a little bit different is we don't need these curly brackets because we're just saying it's going to return hello world. And let's see. He did a filter on that, so that might have complicated it a little bit. Inventor. So he had inventor. What do you have? So we were going to filter for an inventor that had the function of being between these two. So it's going to return, let's see. Let's try this one. Okay. I'm going to pause this for a second because I got a meeting I got to get ready to go to, and then I'll be back and then we'll finish this. I want to pause this. Okay, I'm back. We got about 10 more minutes before my next meeting. So on this fat arrow, I'm in W3 schools, and here's an example of how the fat arrow would work. When I put this away, just kind of expand on the fat arrow a little bit. Function arrow, I call it fat arrow, but it's arrow function, function arrow. So what you would do on this, let's do a side by side. So I'll open up a new Word notepad thing. So let's look at the comparison of before with arrow function and another way. So this is the before, hello. We would declare variable hello equals function. And it would return hello world. Okay, make this bigger. Or with the arrow function, we can do hello equal sign parentheses return hello world and close parentheses. That's also a variable. So let's focus on those two right now. So we created a couple of functions here. I'm going to put everything on the same line so we can do a side-by-side comparison. Now remember, but browsers don't care about space. The only reason we put it on different lines is for the ease of readability. But for this purpose, I'm going to put it on the same line, just try to increase the ease of understanding. So var is the same, hello is the same, equal sign's the same. So where it gets a little funky is where this used to be a function and it will return hello world or whatever. Now just kind of think of it like this. The parentheses is now first and we're using the function arrow. So I guess the best way to kind of describe it would be, let me open this up. So we have var hello equals function. This is the old way, and we're going to return it with hello world. Okay, the new way is var hello equals function, no, parentheses, fat arrow, and then we would return hello world. Okay. So the best way I can try to think of it is, so this is the same, this is the same, this is the same. This function word is no longer used, but it's been replaced by the fat arrow. I want to see if I can, that, blue. There we go, blue. It's been replaced by the fat arrow. This parentheses is now shown first instead of being after the word function. And then go back to black. Everything else is the same, from the curly brackets to the word return to the quotes for the strings, the semicolon, and this is the same. So I guess that's the easiest way. I'm not going to worry about the even shorter way right now, but this is the fat arrow, the function arrow. You're just used to, you're no longer going to be using the word function, and because you're using the arrow, the fat arrow, and you're going to, the parentheses come first. So I got another meeting I got to go to, so I'm going to pause this. Okay, I'm back. So we were talking about functions, and the new fat arrow is the way they can declare a function, and that's how West Boss is doing it in that video, whichever tab it is, and no. Oh, it restarted itself, didn't it?
Programming got a lot. It's going to give us the inventor.
So let's watch this again. It may not be the worst thing in the world. First, watch this again after it's talking about fat arrows.
Get people who were born in the 1500s. So I'm going to say const 15 equals, and we'll take the inventors, and we're going to filter over it. Now, the way that the filter works is you pass it a function, and that function is going to loop over every single item in our array. So Albert, Isaac, Galileo, and it's going to give us the inventor. Inventor. I don't know why I say all fancy. So what that does is we take the inventors, we loop over it, and for each inventor, we can decide whether we want to keep it or not. So go here, we'll have an if statement, and we say if the inventor dot and the dot year, so that's when they were born, if the inventor.year is greater or equal to 1500 and the inventor.year is less than 1600, or we could do less or equal to 1599, whatever you prefer, whatever reads easier for you, then we are going to return true. And by returning true, that means we keep it. And then you don't have to, a lot of times I see else, people have an else here, you return false. If you do not return anything other than true, or something that is truthy, it will just throw it in the garbage. So there's no need to return false here. You just return true if you want to keep it. So let's take a look at our
Okay, so let's do a comparison. Let's see.
variable here. We'll console.log it.
Okay, so we have a 15. So this is the new way that he's done it once he gets a little bit further in the video. So we have a constant, which again is another name for variable that we've been playing with, is 15. He's looking at the inventors, which is this array right here. And we know it's an array because it's got the square bracket. And he's going to filter. He's going to do the filter on the array. And he's looking at inventors. So far, we're still on the same page. Const 15 equals inventors dot filter. Okay, so right here is where we kind of start drifting off a little bit differently. So he's going to be doing a function, and we know it's a function because of this thing right here. We have the fat arrow. So yeah, he's doing a function for inventors. And okay, so where we have in here is what he's looking at the parameters for. And the inventor year is greater than or equal to 15 and less than 16.
15. We've got two people. This is a bit of a pain. So I'm going to show you a little tip. Console.table. Aha, very nice. So these are the people that were born in the 1500s that we have here. Now, this can be greatly reduced. First of all, we can make this into an arrow function. So delete the word function. You can delete the parentheses around inventor if you prefer, and we'll make that an arrow function. Good, that's...
So what they're doing is, again, they took out the word function and the parentheses, and what they're doing is they're basically doing, let's see, I don't know how to explain that better. They're removing the word function and that parentheses, and they are kind of think of it this way. Okay, but we added the content in it for whatever return value is.
Still works. And then this right here, this just is either return true or return false. So what we can actually do is do it all in line, where we will just return these two things. So it's going to give us the inventor, and we're going to return the result of these two things, which if both of them are true, it's going to return a Boolean of true. And if that makes you a little bit uncomfortable reading that, you can throw an extra set of parentheses around it and delete this. We've done it all in one line. Still works just as we planned. Good. Next one. Give us...
Okay. So that's all in this video. It's just being exposed to it in a separate, in a different kind of manner. And like I said, this is a good way of looking at it. And let's see. So this one, nope. This one, nope. This one, okay. So again, we got the variable, the variable name equals, and the fat function, or the fat arrow, indicates is a new way to call a function. And what he's doing is he's filtering, like he's looking through all the inventors, and he's looking for an inventor whose year is greater than or 1500 and then less than 1600. And you'll notice he's using the singular version of this because of there's plural because there's more than one here. And I found this little thing on Stack Exchange, I think. How to name arrays or lists when the nouns are both singular and plural. So it's generally variables are named in the singular and arrays are listed with the plurals. But what about nouns like Fisher? Okay. So just keep this in mind. Many good questions generate some degree of opinion based on expert experience, but answers to this question will tend to be almost entirely based on opinions rather than facts, references, or specific expertise. So even though he's using the word inventor, the singular version of it, because he's looking for a single one there, but if he actually kept with the plural version, it would still work. I mess up something. Inventor is not defined. Why is this not working? So const 15, inventors.filter, inventors, oh. Okay. There we go. So, but if I named, I thought if I named everything inventors, I thought that's what I did earlier. Yeah, it still works. Yep. But if I just do that and save it, it doesn't work. There you go. Okay. So that's all for that one. This video.